This is Deuce Loosely, the devil's favorite advocate for FTW Podcast, representing the hooligans. And right now, I want to speak a little bit about this week's TNA Impact, the September 24th edition. Now, normally I am an advocate for TNA Impact. I'm a big supporter of that show, especially over the past few months, because I think they have really turned a corner, and I think that they are gearing up to switch networks, that they are getting ready to switch, outlets to broadcast Impact each week. And rumor is that it's going to be WGN, at least that's what it's looking like. And I really, really, really hope this is the case, because Chicago is a great wrestling city to perform in, and for TNA to move to Chicago as a home base would do them nothing but good. I swear to you, by this time next year, there will be higher ratings, but, I'm not here to discuss that. The reason I brought up being kind of an advocate for TNA is because I just wanted to say that even though I feel that their product is superior to anything that you see on Raw, at least, over the past month or so. Raw has been kind of hit or miss for a few years now, at least. And especially over the past few months, TNA has surpassed them in every way possible. I won't even go near the Knockouts versus the Divas, because I don't think I have to explain which one of those is superior to the other. Let's just face facts, okay? I'm just gonna move on from that and just say that, as much of a fan as I am of wrestling altogether, TNA has been impressing me a lot. Impact has been impressing me a lot over the past few months, which brings me to the fact that this week kind of left me with an empty feeling. Kind of left me feeling, I was feeling a little bit indifferent, I guess. Not so much indifferent, but kind of blasé about this week's show. Yeah, they were determining the next number one contender for Bobby Lashley's title, but at the same time, it felt kind of linear, and there were moments, of course, there were good moments, there were good spots throughout the night, but overall, it was nothing really to speak of, other than, yeah, we have a number one contender in Austin Aries, and he is going to be the next to take on Bobby Lashley. I may as well say he's going to take on Bobby Lashley, because the match at the end of the night was going to be between the winners of the previous 5 matches of this show. At the end of the night, it ended up being Abyss, Mr. Anderson, Tajiri, Austin Aries, and MVP. Now, I was thinking they would, highlight a little more the tension that has existed between Anderson and MVP. I thought that would have been a fun little sideshow, but they kind of, joked around with that a little bit, and that could have made for more interesting storytelling with this particular angle. But in the end, Austin Aries won, and the matches were decent and everything, but at the end of the night, I was still felt kind of like, I don't know. I'd just kind of seen this before, and I was hoping for something more. Even though it wasn't a bad night, it still wasn't a great night. There could have been more going on. This could have been better. But even though I understood that this was supposed to be pushing forward another storyline, and I think this is actually developing another, a different, this is actually kind of like broadening out the title picture, the TNA title picture, because you've seen how Bobby Roode and Austin Aries have been kind of friendly competition, friendly rivalry thing going on in the back, in the backstage area and whatnot. But we know that Bobby Roode's not done with Lashley yet. We know that Aries is in line for whatever title he chooses, and why should we not believe that Aries will? Why should we not believe that Aries will go for Lashley's title again? This brings up the possibility of a three-way dance between Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and Lashley for the company title. This, I think, would be a really interesting prospect. And let's face it, next week, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, and most likely Bobby Lashley, are going to be in the same building. So I can see definitely that story being pushed forward, and something definitely developing for Bound for Glory. At least I hope so. But that was basically all this week was about, was pushing forward a storyline. And even though, they could have done something with any of the other storylines going during this week's show, I really kind of wish they had. I really kind of wish there had been more to it than just the TNA World Title picture. But it was what it was, and it was pushing one storyline forward. Next week, I understand, is going to be every other storyline being pushed forward. We're going to see Bobby Roode next week, and we'll see if anything develops with him and Lashley or him and Aries. And we're also going to see Gail Kim and Jessica Havoc go at it. And then we're going to see a bunch of other stuff, developing, being pushed next week. So I'd say next week is definitely going to be a lot more interesting than this week was. Again, not a bad show, but, not the best show. And I just want to say that I'm positive things will get better next week. I'm almost counting on it.